Alright, time to finish off this next abyss. And we have Aerith, who is basically Ignis, only less Ignis than Ignis is, if that makes sense. We have Garland, because he is extremely strong, and I don't quite have his BT yet. I'll probably pull it on Yang's banner, which I think is technically Desh's banner, but, you know. And we have Basch, who has a yellow crystal, and also has 0 ingots, and provides some nice auras, and hits melee damage to help deal with that orb. That's going to be something that comes close, or something we have a little bit of trouble with this team, is managing the orb, because Aerith hits 4 magic damage instead of melee damage. This was a much easier abyss, I would say, than the previous one, especially if you have debuff immunity like we do. You could argue Basch makes pretty much any abyss quite manageable, due to the fact that he keeps the party alive, and most HP attacks from this set of enemies will be AoE HP attacks. Although I guess he helps with single target ones too, technically. Basch also provides some good auras, so actually some really good auras. Some of the best for a while, but others have caught up to him now, and very few have surpassed him, if any. I don't remember how long it took me to figure this out, but when those plants use the concentrating skill or stance or whatever, they can't be knocked back with the exception of Rebreak. So that almost blew a run of mine. Garland's hitting hard. I like how when he uses Disaster of Chaos, each wave of attacks ends up being stronger than the previous wave. They're not actually all the same damage. Basch with 0 ingots requires a little bit of setup, because he doesn't start with any of his buffs, including the buff he gets from his EX, Flame Purge, so that has to be built up. And for the record, I did pull Ignis. I pulled his LD, and I have his EX and everything, and I have him at 0-3 from when I used him previously. And I do plan on using him. So looking forward to that a bit. Not only does he provide the ever-important debuff immunity, but he also has the rare Fire Enchant and Imperil. So that'll be interesting. HP attacking with Aerith. Want to make sure I keep her debuff going back and forth between the enemies. I plan on saving my calls for when I need to, well, my original plan was saving my calls for instances where I needed extra turns in order to mess up their concentration. However, it turns out I don't really need to do that, because Garland provides enough speed down so that when they do begin concentrating, they delay themselves enough to not have to so much worry about that. And I think I keep my Ramu summon available for a while for the same thing, just in case. So Basch here, I don't want Basch to burn out, although Basch has so many skills that it's pretty unlikely, but hence the HP attacks with Basch. It's kind of the same thing for Garland. That's why I paused for a while and then opted for an HP attack. Garland's much easier to burn out though if you don't have Onion Knight with you. And oh, look at that, they build a shield. Isn't that cute? I will say one thing about that shield though, is you can't disable the orb. If you damage them with melee damage and the shield is still up, you have to completely destroy the shield before you can disable the orb. So That stinks. But the shield's not so bad. And I think here there we broke the shield. Garland's still hitting hard. And now B has a shield. HP attack on A. Oh! He still had a shield? I don't know, I couldn't tell. It looked like the shield break animation happened there. Oh, and my Seal Evil ran out. Nobody saw that, right? Flame Purge, because it's Basch's hardest hitting skill outside of his LD, which I only have, which you don't have that many of. Not ready to throw down the calls yet, however I do plan on using both of those calls. Yeah, see, we're going to try and get rid of that shield there. I do plan on using both of Amidatilion's calls because the turn rate down stacks quite nicely with Garland's speed down. That's why I brought Arciela as well for the speed down, as far as a call. We'll get that Seal Evil back up that nobody noticed fell off. HP attack there. It's probably better that Basch didn't break A, because now Garland has a chance to hit them both. And then of course A does that. So that kind of stinks. And Garland is going to get 2 turns in a row, which is a little awkward because Garland no longer has a bunch of Brave built up to go into Disaster of Chaos. Garland's pretty slow, but Basch is really slow. Have I talked much about Garland yet? I guess I haven't. Garland, I think Garland has an interesting strength that not a lot of people realize, and that he has naturally really high attack. And a good amount of overflow even on his HP attack. So let's hope that was enough to stop A from concentrating. Good. But anyways, Garland needs fewer attack auras than other characters do in order to hit really hard, which is nice. And it's pretty much always been that way for Garland. He is, however, a bit slower, so I think that's to counterbalance how hard he's going to hit. And you can take advantage of that by pairing him up with other fast, hard-hitting characters. And he also does very well with other speed debuffers. You can get a lot of speed down with Garland on the team, sticking with Kefka or Arciela, or just Arciela's call in this case. Amidatelion does quite well with Garland in that regard. Hence why I brought their calls. Another Flame Purge, as usual. And so their orb should disappear at 50%. And then it will reappear at 40%, and they get another shield sometime around that time, I suppose. Basch, I guess I could talk about Basch. Basch was pretty OP when he got his LD, because you just kept your whole team alive. Nope. And so I had Basch for a while at base EX. Gave him Power Stones, but I didn't even give him a book. And I was able to still win certain stages with that. Basch didn't get that much from his LD boards though, so at this point he still pretty much keeps the party alive as long as he doesn't get debuffed. And he provides some really good auras, but he doesn't really do much outside of that, and so you could argue he's a little boring. he hasn't really hit that hard, so you have to make up for that. His niche is really, you have to use him more in a more targeted manner nowadays than you had to before, or he could cost you a run by just not doing enough damage, especially with runs with lower turn counts. However, you don't really have to worry about that so much with Abyss, you just have to hit the score count. So Basch is either absolutely amazing because you're in a battle where your party's taking a ton of HP damage, especially full team HP damage, or AoE HP damage, or he's just kind of dead weight because that's not happening and he's not doing what he was designed to do specifically, which is that. Anyways, I'm going to use my calls here because I want to keep my damage up. I plan on keeping them nice and delayed to keep those debuffs lasting as long as possible, and I'm not so worried anymore about them going into a concentrating stance. A has way more HP than B, however, B would be the better target to delay here, and is about to go into 49%, so I need to be kind of careful about that. So I target B anyways because that's what a real man would do. Look danger straight in the eye. And hey, I got rid of B's orb, and B did not generate a shield, so we're fine. Don't want Seal Evil falling off again. Hehehehe. At this point, should probably focus on A, so I don't have to deal with that orb for a little bit. Now my plan here is to get rid of the orbs, not really care about their count, and then when they reappear, the orbs, I'm hoping that the orbs reset their count. So that's kind of why I'm hoping we can do that whole 10% of their HP with no orbs. Like, I assume that's why they put it in here, is to reset the orb count. Man, even Basch is hitting for full damage with all these debuffs. Yeah, look how far back A is now. Like, I don't care if they start concentrating. So this is a little awkward. Garland has his EX fully charged, and I have the free turn. Kind of sucks when that happens, but with enough practice with Garland, that won't happen so much. A's orb is cancelled. B is getting 2 turns before A gets 1. Launch on A, but it would kind of be wasted. So Brave Attack will shoot Aerith up. Fury Brand will not. We're going to apply our calls again because, like I said a little before, I'm not so worried about needing to take turns when they start concentrating. Somehow B's next turn fell all the way back before A. Now we could... oh, they both have launches. We got some... it's going to be a pretty decent HP launch here, considering Disaster of Chaos. And we're going for A, even though A won't get knocked back. Probably should have done an HP attack with Aerith, but oh well. Still have a launch with B remaining. And I was kind of hoping that would knock A below the HP threshold. I am accidentally touching the left side of my screen. There we go. Trying to figure out why I can't do anything with Aerith. And I'm still doing it, that's funny. That's what you get when you don't put a case on your phone. You accidentally touch the screens. Another launch, and Brave attack was fine there. I mean, it was just about as much damage as she had Brave. And then I kind of realized, oh shoot, the orbs did not reset when they disappeared and came back, like I was expecting them to. So that really sucks. They have shields up, they have... the orb is getting low, and so it's becoming that time to go indomitable, I guess. But it's becoming that time to delete some turns, maybe even do a summon. I just want to be smart about those debuffs. Because if I don't manage them properly, we will end up having too many. I'm debating using Arciela's other call there. I don't really care about the debuff it provides. I'm going to bring it more for damage. And so for debuff management purposes, I'm going to hold off on it for a moment. I'm going to use the final Seal Evil here because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to kill them before Seal Evil runs out. And using it in the summon seems like a great way to build up Brave. I used the summon when I did because A was getting really low on that orb, and Aerith wasn't going to be able to pause it. So it was the right move to make. And now, since Ramuh added a frame debuff, I have to be careful about overdoing the debuffs. So I use Comet to apply turn rate down first, and now I don't have to worry about the relatively useless debuff that Crystal Idol provides of a small initial Brave down. Not only that, but Crystal Idol applies a really nice battery, so we can have really hard-hitting Disaster of Chaos for that reason. Sounded like I was from Boston for a second there. Not sure why that happened. I'm going to use Indomitable Basch's LD, so that way I can battery everyone while we were still on the summon. And I can't see their turns anymore. It's always fun when that happens. And what's nice about that is I don't have to worry about the orb becoming active until they get another turn. HP attack with Garland, because Garland was at very high Brave, and he basically did max damage there. I don't think using a skill was going to help with that. Oh, my dog wants to play with the tennis ball. Squeaky toy. Hope that wasn't too loud. Basch still hitting really hard, even though they're below 29%. Thank you, Trey's debuffs. Fetch, dog. Oh boy, hope I don't have to make the rest of this about hearing me play fetch with my dog. Arciela call for the damage, since her debuff is not getting applied. And now I can see B. And now I don't see B again. I will say this, if I'm only able to kill one of them before they start getting turns again, I want A to be the one who is killed, due to the fact that A's orb is about to expire. And I'm not too worried about enraging, because Garland can help. If there's only one enemy, Garland can stop them from really taking too many turns. Alright, let's see if my dog will play with a tennis ball instead of a squeak toy. So I don't know where A is quite yet, but I know B is there. And B will lose Trey's debuff on B's next turn, which will stop... Oh, Oh dear. Which will stop everybody from hitting quite as hard. And now my dog's freaked out and doesn't want to play fetch anymore. Don't worry, nothing broke, probably. Oh, there's A. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't think, at this point I was like, I don't think I'm going to kill them both. But, and then I was like, oh, Seal Evil's going to wear off. In 2 more of Aerith's turns. Didn't really time that one properly. C65 to up everybody's damage, but I should have saved that for when Seal Evil wore off. Oh well. Garland's getting low on skills. Luckily Garland still hits pretty hard with Brave and HP attacks. Only 65 turns and I burnt out Garland. But then again, they're only down to 8% and 12%, so at least I got good use out of Garland's skills. I think Garland was one of the first to get an HP attack that had 3 hits in it. Because that happened during Garland's LD a long time ago. Basch not hitting quite so hard anymore. Seal Evil has worn off. And B is about to take a turn, but I want to make sure A dies. A is only down to, or A only has 3% though. That will delay both A and B. And that was my last skill 1 for Garland. But, again, they're pretty close to dying. I'm hoping this kills A, which it did not, didn't even come close. I was hoping that would kill A and then I could focus on B and delay B up. But, so many text messages. But A is still alive, but A is down to 1%, so maybe Aerith can kill A and I can have Garland hitting B for that delay. That's what we're hoping to do here. Nope. Not without Seal Evil. And B got a turn, and B lost Trey's debuff. Using skill 1 with Basch to pause B's orb and also kill A. That moment when B concentrated was really unfortunate because now I can no longer have Garland knocking B back, which was kind of what my plan was. More text messages. And I just realized that even though I'm recording my voiceover, the sound my phone makes when I get a text doesn't copy into my voiceover. So that's how we learn. Used Healing Wind with Aerith because Aerith no longer has Seal Evil and might as well. And yeah, I have no more ways of taking up extra turns, so I'm going to have to hope this is enough to end the concentration. And it was not, which kind of sucks. Luckily Basch. Luckily I took Basch along for this. They removed all of B's debuffs, which sucks. Basch lived because you shouldn't believe Onderon's lies. And luckily B is pretty much dead here anyways. And Basch gets the kill. 79 turns. More than most Lufenia stages. Oh, yeah, this happened. I wasn't on Wi-Fi and I lost cell phone reception. Luckily, I was able to connect to Wi-Fi again and still get credit for this, as it was my initial clear, and that would have been a bummer. And apparently I forgot to give Basch his other artifacts that I'd been farming for him. Whoops. Probably that explains why his max brave was so bloody low. And Aerith has 1 ingot. Basch has 0 ingots. And Garland has 3 ingots and high armor. Thank you for watching.